Welcome to the Shutil podcast. If you don't know me, my name is Martin Depict. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Los Angeles. And I think we should just go over Coachella and just do a quick recap of that because I did just post a vlog last week. I'm filming this the week of Stagecoach or the weekend of Stagecoach, and it's going up the Monday after Stagecoach. It's still pretty fresh. And, I just wanted to talk about it one last time before they announce the lineup next year. Because I don't want this to be sort of like, I'm not going to a bunch of festivals. I think Coachella is something that I went for the first time in 2013 with my best friend that passed away. And I think that it holds a special place in my heart because of that. It was also the 8th time that I've gone with Luna. It's sort of become a tradition for us. And it was also our first time doing it this year as an engaged couple. So it was definitely a way different experience, having it be my 12th Coachella. I've camped every time besides one other time, which I stayed at an Airbnb that one other time. But this time specifically, we did the safari experience. And it was such an amazing experience. The staff was amazing. The concierge was amazing. There were some things that I didn't mention. I didn't mention that we had access to air-conditioned bathrooms and showers. Everyone that stayed in the safari had access to a complimentary 1-hour massage, which we didn't book because I was supposed to book in the day that we got there. And then we just got settled in and started drinking, and I completely forgot about it. I tried booking it on Sunday, but it was already full. So that's on me. It won't happen again next year. We also had access to IV treatments. So you had access to IVs day 1, 2, and 3, just in case if you went too hard the night before. We didn't go that hard, but nevertheless, it was such an amazing experience. My favorite part was still the golf carts. Being able to get picked up from our camp, be dropped off at any stage that we wanted, was so huge. Usually Coachella weekend, we're walking about 15 to 20 miles a day. And with the golf carts, the most I walked was on Sunday, which was 8 miles, which helps so much because usually by Sunday we're dead. It's one of those things that like we're walking so much, we're in the sun all day. By Sunday, we're just sort of taking it easy, especially like a lot of us have work the next day. We're not necessarily going too hard with the drinking and stuff. It was a completely different experience because we were just able to stay fresher for longer and we were just able to walk around a little bit more. We did the most amount of walking on Sunday. We saw the most amount of music on Sunday. So it was a lot of fun. A completely different experience, night and day. I can't compare this year with past years. I've gone weekend 1, I've gone weekend 2, I've done VIP and I've done GA. This was my first time doing it with a guest pass. So having access to that front section was really cool. But then I'm not great in crowds, which I've realized. I'm a little bit of an introvert. So I would still prefer to watch the acts from like a little bit further away where I have just enough space for myself. The price of the safari is pretty steep. It's $12,000 for 4 nights. I think considering that Airbnb prices and hotel prices are inflated around Coachella, I don't think that we sort of overspent. I think that if 2 people go to Coachella and you guys get like a nice Airbnb, maybe like a 2-bedroom house that you maybe split with another couple, and it has like you get like a pool and stuff, you're probably looking to spend around $2,000 per person maybe, plus the passes. So it ends up being around the same because I think the safari passes average between $3,500 to $4,500 per person. I ended up spending a little bit more because I ended up getting the safari passes in tier 2 last year. So if you can get them early. Actually, they're already sold out for 2027, but there are other ways for you to get a guest pass. So this year was the first year that they added the Veranda, which is sort of like this set of tables in between VIP and GA by the main stage, which sort of just gives you access to free food, free drinks at the main stage. I'm not sure if it's the whole weekend or just for certain times or certain sets, but those packages are going for $25,000 for 10 passes. So if you have 10 friends and you have the money to spend, I mean, like, I would probably recommend that. You know, like, you get access to your own little section, free food, free drinks, and you get access to the go-kart still. So that is pretty cool. There is another package that the Red Bull Mirage is doing. Those packages are being sold by Dorsia, and that one comes with, like, access to, like, Nobu and, like, a different bar in that area at the Red Bull Mirage. And those, I think, go for $35K for 10 passes, or at least that's where they start. I know they got more expensive the closer that you got to the weekend. So I don't know when those will become available for 2027, but when they are available, I'm sure that they're going to go just as fast as the Safari passes did for next year. So if you're looking to have sort of like an elevated experience for next year, keep an eye out for that. I got asked a lot, like, what I do to afford this, and like most of my responses were that I'm pretty financially irresponsible. As I mentioned, I think like I wanted to sort of like spend a little bit more. It was my first Coachella engaged, and I really wanted it to be special and different for me and Luna. As well as I don't think any woman likes to use porta potties. So I wanted to just make it a different experience, and having access to like better bathrooms, better showers, I think really helped elevate. Obviously, like if you're staying at like a $10 million mansion, obviously it's a completely different experience. But we've camped there together 7 times before this, and we love being on the campgrounds. Like, I don't regret it. I think like I think we did it the best that we could. My favorite sets for the weekend were probably Jack White and Justin Bieber. I think like Jack White is one of those artists. Obviously, he's one of those artists that like when I was a kid, I'm not sure if you guys, I'm probably dating myself here, but like there was The Box before it turned into MTV2, and it was just a channel where they just played music videos all the time. And the White Stripes, that Seven Nation Army song, the amount of times that song was like played and burned into my brain was insane. Obviously, it's like an amazing song, but I don't think like as kids, we don't know how impactful something's going to be until years later. And being able to see him on Saturday, so close up, being able to get like the pictures that I got of him playing. I mean, the dude's a legend, you know, like I probably will never get another opportunity to see him live. And I think like the same goes for Justin, you know, like this was his first show back. There's a part of me that is just happy to have experienced it. And amazing to just sort of be there and to feel that energy. And yeah, I mean, but speaking of Justin's set, obviously, if you watch the vlog, there was a situation that happened right before or right when he went on, basically. So we had gone to see Justin. We were like having drinks back at the camp. I wanted to go see David Guetta, but then when we got to the carts, the person driving the car told us, if you guys want to go see Justin, you should go now because there's a line to get in. And I was like, shit. All right. So we went straight to go see Justin. And right when we got there, I thought that we were going to be able to see him from the VIP section where we had our pizza on Friday, which was sort of just like this elevated area, like a balcony sort of section where we're still pretty far away from the stage. But you can still see him. Like you can still see the screens and everything. And we actually saw Karol G from that place on Sunday. But on Saturday, it was completely packed. We couldn't even walk. Like I was getting like anxious walking through the crowd. People were pushing and like we were like this and like people were sitting on the floor around us. It just really felt like I couldn't necessarily move. So we had made the plan to like start moving and walking away from the crowds as soon as people started getting up. So as soon as he came on, we took it upon ourselves to just walk towards sort of like the edge and like the fence of the area that we were in. So we were walking towards the fence, and as we were doing that, someone rushed in to the section that we were in, and 4 security guards just jumped on him. I didn't even know really what happened. Like, we were walking, they pushed us, they shoved us. All of a sudden, 2 of them flew, like their backs flew into me. And then I like fell and was like up against the fence for a little bit. It felt like I was on the floor for a long time. Like, now thinking back to it, it was like everything is black and white. There's thunder, there's lightning. It's just, it felt worse thinking back to it than what it really was. Because when I look back at the footage, it was so quick, and like I ended up feeling stupid for like letting it bother me so much, because it bothered me to the point to where like it took me a little bit to get over it. 1, it was embarrassing, right? Like getting knocked down was embarrassing. But then 2, there's like kids and pregnant women around. Like, if I would have got hurt, actually, I wouldn't care that much if I would have got hurt. If Luna would have got hurt, I probably would have gone to jail that night. And I think that's the biggest thing, you know? Like, I was there sort of just replaying the moment, and I couldn't get past it. It took me a little bit to get past it. As he kept performing, it sort of faded away, and I was able to enjoy it a little bit, but I really wish I would have just like been in the moment more. It's a learning experience. I think like forcing myself to be out a little bit more and to like vlog and to do these things. I think that there's going to be times where like things like that happen, and I need to just sort of like push through it. And I know that there's other people out there that go through this, that sort of like may feel this way sometimes, where like they get overwhelmed and they shut down a little bit. And I think what helps me is to just sort of like take your mind off of it. And the fact that he was performing helped, obviously. Looking back to it, it was a great performance. I had a great time. Looking back at the footage, it wasn't as worse as I thought. Obviously, it was still bad. Like, someone could have got hurt, but luckily no one did. Everything was fine. So yeah, but I think switching to the more technical stuff, I really had a good time using this thing. So this is my DJI Action 6. I made a video of like how I prepared this for Coachella. And I basically custom made a VND to like put on this macro lens. And it's probably, you know, the most fun that I've had with a camera in public. Vlogging in public is already one thing, but like having a camera that's this small, it felt easy. It didn't feel like I was in people's faces. There was 2 things that I could have done better. One I mentioned in the vlog, which was the focusing issue. This macro lens is not autofocus. This camera there's no autofocus in the camera at all. But the lens itself, you can adjust to focus. So there's a minimum focus distance, and then there's infinity and a space in between for like a vlog setting. So I kept it on the vlog setting most of the time, which sort of played to my detriment, because if I wanted to shoot something further, I wasn't able to get that. The other thing that I did wrong was that I didn't have stabilization on, and I'll sort of show you what that looks like. So this is what it looks like with no stabilization, right? So I'm just gonna shake my hand a little bit. So this is what it looks like with no stabilization. If I'm just like walking around, jumping, it's very shaky, obviously. But if I would have turned the stabilization on, this is what it would have looked like. It helped a lot. And I tried sort of like adjusting it in post with Gyroflow or Gyroscope. What is it? It's one of the programs that you can use to like stabilize some of this footage. But what I got was that because it wasn't shot at a higher frame rate, I was getting like this weird sort of like jitter and motion blur from the stabilization. So I decided not to use the stabilization and just go with like the shaky footage. Besides those 2 things, I am really happy of how everything turned out. Obviously, there's things that aren't going to be perfect all the time. And those 2 issues are user error. So a lot of it's on me. It's a learning experience. Good things about this camera is like this little cage, this little small rig cage. I was able to just like clip on the mic this clip is meant to clip on to straps or anywhere that like you can fit it basically. But you can also put it on the hot shoe. So I just put it on the hot shoe right here. And if I was filming forward, or myself, it would catch me talking. And then if I was filming away, I would just flip the mic around because you can take it off because it's magnetic. So I was just using it this way or using it this way and flipping the mic towards me. It's just such a really useful sort of like way to shoot. Overall, I have no complaints in using it. I think like besides the 2 mistakes that I made, it was a great first time experience to like vlogging in front of people, which I've never necessarily done in public like that, but it was a great first experience to do it with something small like this. My favorite photo of the weekend was probably the photo that I took of Cascade while he was performing. So just like an amazing thing to capture while like the fire was coming up and his hands were up. It's just so insane. It probably beats the photo that I took of him 10 years ago in 2015. He always kills his sets. He always has like crazy lighting effects and everything. Like his setup is always insane. If you haven't seen him and you get the opportunity to see him, I know he performs at a lot of other festivals. I'd highly recommend to go see Cascade. I mean, the dude's insane. Like a couple years ago, I think it was probably like 2019, like there was like a riot in downtown LA because they had closed off a couple streets for one of his shows, and so many people showed up that like it overflowed into like 5 other blocks or 5 other streets, and they had to cancel it and close it down because it got too crazy. So highly recommend it. He's an amazing DJ, probably one of my favorites for sure. But going back to vlogging in public, I think that was like the real big test for me this Coachella, was getting to experience what it felt like recording myself around a bunch of other people. There was like a part in the vlog where like I'm just in the crowd right before Justin's about to perform, and I literally just like took the mic off of it and I spoke to the camera like this. I would have never done that. Like just looking at that one clip, and while I was editing it, I was like, holy shit, like who the fuck am I? It's just like, I'm really, really proud of myself for just getting to the point of like recording that whole thing, having it stored on my hard drives as like a memory for Luna and I to look back on. I think the biggest thing about this year and putting myself on camera the way that I have been is that because I'm someone that is hired to take photos and record other people, I think putting myself in front of the camera and having to think of like, how is this video going to be edited? How is this story going to go? It's a completely different way to sort of like maneuver yourself around this type of content, because you're having to produce it, direct it on the fly, and it's just like a different muscle. When I'm shooting for other people, I'm obviously thinking about like how it's going to be edited and how the storyline goes, but like filming myself, I especially having to choose between like, do I want it to look good or do I want to tell the better story? And I think like I'm nowhere near the level of where the bar of like where these top tier creators have set it, right? Like that bar is still pretty high. Their quality is great. Their videos sound amazing. The story and how they edit their videos are like next level, top tier. I'm not like a Carl Shakur where, all his videos look insane and he's getting sent out and flown everywhere by like brands. Even he's talked about it in past videos to where like doing it in public is still weird and still scary for him. And I can relate to that. Just editing the whole hour-long video alone was a learning experience. The video was actually even going to be longer because I was going to include how I prepared the camera for vlogging Coachella in the actual vlog, but Luna was actually the one that saw it and was like, "Hey, like that should be a separate video." And just like how we talked about in the last podcast, where there's going to be times where like I'm filming, and I've gotten to the point to where I'm filming myself so much throughout the week. Like I'm recording myself almost every day doing something. Sometimes some of that footage doesn't make it into the final vlog, and then sometimes some of that stuff can be a separate video, and sometimes those are just memories for me. And the fact that sort of like little 10-minute part of the video that I was going to include became a whole separate video. If I wouldn't have done that, I kept thinking of like how many people would have clicked on the video and then clicked off right away. Because if I'm naming the video something like, oh, my safari experience at Coachella, and then I talk about how I'm setting up the camera for 10 minutes, it's such like clickbait, and I can see people getting really upset. But instead, I did, hey, getting my DJI Action 6 ready for vlogging at Coachella as one video, and then doing the actual vlog as another video. That's a learning experience. And I think that like Luna, thank God for Luna for catching that and telling me to do that, because I definitely wouldn't have seen that on my own. Like it's something that sometimes when you're editing, you're so close to it that you just see it all being one thing. And it's helpful to just sort of take a step back or have someone else look at it and give you sort of like notes like that. Obviously, like there's a bunch of other creators that are doing this stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of what they shoot that don't make it in their videos as well. I think the biggest takeaway, and so far what I've taken away of documenting myself this year, is that I'm taking the time to capture more moments on video. But sort of like switching that mentality has been sort of like, I don't know if I could say life-changing yet, but it has sort of opened me up to different experiences. I'm not necessarily going out of my way to like go out and have adventures just to like film it, but I am capturing the adventures that I'm already having. Like Luna and I go on our date nights, we go on lunch dates, but I've never been that type of person to like pull out my phone, at a restaurant or with friends. I think like when I was younger, I was, but it's definitely been something that I've grown out of. And maybe that's a bad thing in this sort of like social media era, right? Like where content just means so much. Like there's this sort of like burnout that I got when I was younger of taking photos for social media. I still haven't really come back to Instagram fully because I don't want to look at photography as like this sort of like meter that I feed into this sort of like algorithm that is Instagram. I much rather capture those moments and keep them for myself, or sell the photos as posters, or do something more productive with them, as opposed to just like posting them and then have people just like look at them for half a second and then scroll past it, or maybe not even look at them for half a second, just scroll. I would want it to have more value, and they have more value to me than they would on that platform. So I don't know where I was going with that exactly, but I'm just going to say that if you have never vlogged, try doing it for at least like 30 days straight. Just film yourself for a couple minutes a day. Maybe even like try planning some things out that you would want to record yourself doing. Or if you're going somewhere for the first time, just like film yourself a little bit every day, capture moments for yourself. And I guarantee that you would be so grateful to have those memories to look back on in that way. Not just photos. Something that you can look back on and really say, wow, like I've grown so much since then, or I'm so happy to have that on camera. Anyway, Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys next week for another vlog. And as always, keep shooting. Peace.